Let me ask you a quick question. When you hear the words public relations, what's the very first thing that pops into your head? Do you immediately picture some stressed out executive frantically typing up a media statement because their company is in hot water? Or, maybe a highly paid fixer swooping in for some rapid fire damage control? It's a super common assumption. But here's the thing, the actual reality of professional PR is vastly different. It's really not just about putting out fires or blindly blasting out press releases hoping something sticks.
Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're going to look at the exact opposite of that chaotic, reactive version of PR. We're exploring the RPIE framework. That's RPIE, which stands for Research, Planning, Implementation, and Evaluation. This is the continuous, incredibly strategic cycle that real PR pros use to actually build trust and solve genuinely complex communication problems.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll do a quick PR reality check, figure out how to find the facts through research, map out our approach in planning, pick the absolute best channels during implementation, and finally, measure our real-world impact with evaluation.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the PR reality check.
Imagine this scenario for a second. Your company is suddenly getting hammered with negative comments online. Management is completely panicking, right? They're yelling, "Quick, we need to publish a statement to defend ourselves." Now, do you do it? Well, the professional answer is no, absolutely not. Why? Because you haven't actually identified the root problem yet. What if those customers are complaining because the product they just bought is genuinely difficult to use, or the instructions are literally printed upside down? A perfectly crafted statement is not going to fix a broken product. Communication alone just cannot solve a fundamental operational issue. You absolutely have to know what you're dealing with first.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, Research. This is where we go fact-finding. Now, what's really interesting here is how quantitative research completely grounds us in reality. When we pull a hard, measurable metric, like finding out we have 72% brand recognition, it tells us exactly how many people know who we are. It completely eliminates the guesswork. We're no longer sitting around a conference table saying, well, I think people know us. We have the actual math to back it up. But math is really only half the story.
To grab that other half, we need qualitative research. While the numbers give us the how many, qualitative research gives us the absolutely crucial why. Like, why do 28% of people have zero recognition of us? Or why exactly do some customers trust our brand while others just don't? By running surveys or focus groups or one-on-one interviews, we capture those deeply human experiences and motivations. You really need both, the hard numbers and the personal narratives, to get a complete picture before you even think about planning.
And that brings us to Section 3, Planning. Basically putting strategy before tactics. Listen, one of the absolute biggest mistakes in the PR world is starting out with some vague goal like, hey, we want to get more publicity. Honestly, that's not a plan. That is just a wish. Professional planning heavily relies on SMART objectives: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So instead of that vague get more publicity idea, a real SMART objective sounds more like this. Increase awareness of our new community program among local university students by 20% within the next 6 months. See the difference there? It gives you a highly precise target to hit and a clear, definite timeline to measure your success against.
Now, if you take absolutely nothing else away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. The business world mixes up these two terms all the time, strategy and tactics. So here's a snappy rule of thumb. Your strategy is your overall approach. It's the where and the why. Your tactics, on the other hand, are the specific activities you use to actually pull that approach off, the what and the how. So say your strategy is to build credibility through trusted third-party experts. Your tactics would be the actual expert interviews, the media briefings, or the podcast appearances you organize to make that happen. Remember, strategy always dictates the tactics, literally never the other way around.
Okay, so a massive piece of this planning phase is figuring out your core messages, and the absolute best messaging is incredibly straightforward. It just answers 3 basic questions. 1, what is happening? 2, why does it actually matter? And 3, what should the public know or do next? The goal here is definitely not to sound overly fancy or hide behind some complicated corporate jargon. The fundamental goal of your messaging is simply to be understood.
Moving right along to Section 4, Implementation. This is all about choosing the right channels. So modern communication essentially happens across 4 big buckets. We have owned media, which are the places you have total control over, like your company website or a blog. Then there's earned media. That's the organic news coverage you get because your story is genuinely newsworthy. Next is shared media, which is basically where all the conversations happen, like your social media platforms. And finally, paid media, which is exactly what it sounds like, sponsored content or paid ads. Now, the key takeaway here: there is no single magic bullet or universal best channel. The right choice literally always depends on exactly where your target audience hangs out and what your specific SMART objective is. Once you actually start implementing those tactics, let's say you're hosting a media briefing, you're probably going to use a spokesperson. A well-prepared spokesperson essentially becomes the living, breathing face of your strategy. But here's the catch. Good preparation is not about teaching someone how to cleverly spin a story. It rests on 4 non-negotiable pillars: accuracy, clarity, confidence, and above all else, honesty. Your spokesperson is going to know the facts and the key messages inside out, and they must never, under any circumstances whatsoever, knowingly give out false information. Finally, we hit Section 5, Evaluation, Measuring Real Impact. And please, don't let this be an afterthought. To figure out if we actually succeeded, we have to slice our results into 3 distinct categories. And breaking it down like this brilliantly illustrates why measurement matters so much. First, you have outputs. That's just what you produced, say drafting and posting 100 social media updates. Then you have outtakes. That's what people actually understood. Did they even remember the message? But the holy grail? That's outcomes. What actually changed in the real world? Did customer behavior shift? Did trust actually go up? A huge trap is measuring activity instead of actual results. Pumping out 100 social media posts means absolutely zero if it doesn't lead to a real, tangible outcome that perfectly aligns with your original business goals.
Let's actually bring this whole framework to life with a real-world case study. Imagine a food company that figures out during their initial research phase that their customers are getting super concerned about all the plastic packaging on their products. Let's look at how the RPIE framework handles a situation like this without anyone ever having to draft a panicked press release. When we apply the framework here, our core objective isn't just to look like we're eco-friendly, right? It's to tangibly improve customer understanding of the company's existing packaging reduction program over the next quarter. Our specific publics, or audiences, are those concerned customers and the environmental media. The strategy? To just communicate completely transparent, evidence-based information. And then the tactics to make that happen? Updating the website's FAQ page and releasing some really solid educational videos showing off the new sustainable materials. Do you see how perfectly logical that flow is? The entire problem gets solved strategically and educationally, completely driven by that very first phase of research. Ultimately, a professional PR process replaces blind panic with solid planning. It shifts us away from just guessing what our audience might want and moves us towards firmly knowing what they actually need. As our source material so perfectly puts it, effective PR is not simply about communicating more. It is about communicating strategically. So, as you wrap up this explainer and look at how things run in your own organization, I want you to ask yourself, are you just creating a bunch of noise with endless outputs, or are you actually designing a clear strategy that drives real, measurable outcomes?